I'm Melissa Griffin. I'm a columnist who covers San Francisco city politics and a member of the San Francisco League of Women Voters. I'm here today with the League and SFGov TV to discuss Proposition C, a ballot measure that will be before the voters this November 8th.
Proposition C is a charter amendment that would change the way the city and current and future employees share in funding their pension and health care benefits. Prop C would adjust employee contributions to the city retirement system, known as SFers, based on the city's costs, reduce pension benefits for future city employees, limit cost of living adjustments to retirement benefits, decrease city contributions to retiree health care costs for certain former employees, require all employees to contribute toward their retiree health care, change the composition and voting requirements of the Health Service Board, and finally, require elected officials to pay the same contribution rates as city employees. There are two charter amendments regarding pensions on November's ballot, Proposition C and Proposition D. If voters approve both measures, only the measure with the most votes will become law.
I'm here with Tim Paulson, the Executive Director of the San Francisco Labor Council and a proponent of Proposition C. Mr. Paulson, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Melissa. Glad to be here.
Why do you support Proposition C?
The labor movement in San Francisco supports Proposition C. The public sector unions have been working probably most of this year to sit down and find a way in order to save city services and jobs during this down economic time. And part of that has been sitting down with the Board of Supervisors, the Mayor's office, the business community, and coming up with a comprehensive chart that talks about how we can save over $1 billion over the next 10 years in San Francisco. It's a consensus measure. It stops pension spiking. It adjusts the rates of some of the amount that people are going to be paying, both during good times and bad times over the next 10 years, and it really does save money. It's the consensus way of moving forward. It is supported by all 11 of the Board of Supervisors, the Mayor's office, and virtually every public official from Dianne Feinstein down. And I'm personally very proud of the San Francisco Labor Council's public sector unions for putting Measure C on the ballot. It's real consensus, it's real savings, and it's really going to save city money. This has been done in San Francisco in ways that I haven't seen anywhere else. Wisconsin, San Jose, where people are just attacking public workers. In San Francisco, I just really put my hats off to the unions here in San Francisco, who are going to be actually sacrificing and going to be paying more into the city funds in order to save these jobs. It does adjust the spiking levels. There are going to be more money that is paid by city workers that are going in it, and I just couldn't be prouder. And I'm just really urging everybody to vote yes on Measure C. And I think that this is the San Francisco way of doing reform. We've done many things collaboratively, and we're very proud of what Measure C is going to do. So we're urging everybody to vote yes on C to save over $1 billion in the next 10 years and save city services in San Francisco.
Opponents of Proposition C have argued that this $1 billion number that is being touted is based on a 7.75% investment return that some people feel is unrealistic. How would you address that argument?
Well, Melissa, what has happened over the last few months is we have sat down all the public sector unions, who, by the way, have all ratified this contract. Those who have retiree groups, every single union is endorsing and supporting this measure. But people sat down with the Comptroller's office, with actuaries, with economists, and exactly found out what type of cycles this city goes through during bad economic times. And when times are bad like they are now, public employees are going to be contributing more than they used to. And we've factored in all of these actuarial assumptions. So when the city is doing better, people will not have to pay quite as much. When it is doing badly like it is right now, people are going to be paying more. It's a San Francisco way of sharing and really moving forward. So I'm not going to get into the weeds, but we looked very hard at the analysis of how the city budget works and what type of numbers are going to be needed.
Now, Proposition C also changes the makeup of something called the Health Services Board. And that board, as I understand it, dictates the cost and availability of various healthcare options for current and former city employees. Some people are concerned about this change to the Health Services Board. Could you please address that issue?
No, absolutely. This is controversial in a way that it shouldn't be. What has happened is that the Mayor's office, during the course of these negotiations, wanted to place 4 appointments on the board and have only 3 participants elected. It's a 7-person board, and they just kept pounding us all the time, and we absolutely said no. The public employees said no, we don't need to change any of that. On the very last day of negotiations, the mayor's office backed down and said, okay, we'll elect 3, I get to appoint 3, and the 4th person gets to be nominated by the controller, but the electeds, there has to be a 4-person majority in order for that person to come in. So in essence, the participants in the plan who did have 4 elected will have their voice, because if they do not like who the mayor and the controller have nominated, then there's veto power on that. So the city did cave on that, and that is the only piece of controversy that I think a small group of retirees are really arguing about. But there is some misconception. There are not 4 people that the mayor appoints.
Thank you very much. We hope that was informative. Up next, we'll be discussing this measure with an opponent of Proposition C. And now we're here with Jerry Meister, the vice chair of a group called POB, which stands for Protect Our Benefits. Ms. Meister, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for asking me.
Now, you are an opponent of Proposition C.
Yes, I am.
Please explain why.
Okay, I'm actually representing about 3,700 retirees. They come from the San Francisco Unified School District, the city, the community college district, the court system. We have one thing in common, and that one thing in common is the health service system, which nobody knows very much about. It handles the health, it's 107,000 people are involved in it, and our health service is handled through the health service system. So we see a change being proposed in Proposition C, which would change how the health service system is run. It's not something that would save money. The controller has said it would not, but it would change how decisions are made. It would change the decision, and it would change who's on the board. It would add an appointed position and take away one that is elected by the members of the system. So we don't like that. We're happy with the way the health service system is operating now since reform was passed by the voters 7 years ago. It's been a terrific, in fact, a model city department. Many people have said that. And we would hate to see it go back to into the past when we had problems with political influence, with attempts to change things, with attempts at bringing political favoritism into the department. We want it to stay as it is. We like the status quo in this case. And we feel very concerned that the change will not be positive.
What exactly are the kinds of changes that your organization is fearful of happening if Proposition C passes?
That there'll be a change in the health service board, that the composition of the board will change from being 4 elected people to being, and 3 appointees, to being 4 appointees and 3 elected. And when I say elected, I mean elected by the members of the system. And also there's a change in the vote, which is it's now a supermajority to make major decisions, which means you have to have 5 people. And at this point, that's worked extremely well. In fact, most decisions are unanimous. We would hate to see a split in the board, sort of an artificially induced split in the board with a change in the composition. So that's our major reaction.
We recently spoke with Tim Paulson, Executive Director from the San Francisco Labor Council, who explained that the 7th appointee would come from the Controller's office and then have to be confirmed by other members of the board. Do you not believe that that provides protection for your membership?
I think that an exchange made for another appointee, wherever the appointee comes from, is a little different from having been able to elect the person. And also remember, the controller is himself an appointee of the mayor, so you have a double hit there. You've got an appointee of an appointee, and then you have a 60-day limit before they have to decide, the board does, on who the person will be. Otherwise, the appointee that was nominated by the controller becomes the person automatically. So that seems to me a little unfair. Also, you have to remember that none of us who were retirees were ever involved in any of these discussions, as Mr. Paulson would have said. Okay?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We hope that that was informative. For more information about this and other ballot measures on this November 8th ballot, please visit the website of the San Francisco League of Women Voters, sfvotes.org. And remember, early voting is available at City Hall Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And if you don't vote early, be sure to vote on November 8th.